Hey, what's happening, FC Cincinnati fans? It's Cincinnati Soccer Talk coming at you live here at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. We've got a huge episode in store for you this week. We're going to visit with USL MVP Sean Okoli here this week on the podcast, get his thoughts on winning that award and his season overall for FC Cincinnati. Of course, we'll talk about all things orange and blue, the sales staff and everybody down at the meetings in San Antonio. FC Cincinnati brought home some more hardware today. We'll talk about that. And, of course, we'll take your calls all this week here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I'm Nick Seuberling, pleased to be joined by Yosef Sagai. Yosef, what's up?
Not too much, bud. How are you doing?
Doing well. You're looking good, and you're, I can say fly for your white hat there. That's a fly-looking hat you got on.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you're using my language. I'm rubbing off on you, man. You gotta stop spending time with me.
You are rubbing off on me. We appreciate you being with us this week. The Lone Wolf is back as well. Bill Wolf, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Spouting my I voted sticker, and I'm just waiting for the results.
Is the Lone Wolf an acceptable nickname for you?
I can live with that.
Or would you prefer the Wolf Man?
I can live with that too.
I'm sure these are all things you've heard throughout your entire life.
Pretty much.
Well,
we're looking for a good nickname though, so keep throwing them at there.
Yeah, you can always send them to us on Twitter at Cincy Soccer Talk. Your nicknames for Bill, hashtag. I got nothing. We'll just throw them at us. And last but not least, we're welcoming. You've heard him before on the show as a call screener, but he's making his debut as, we could say, a co-host this week. The one and only Boston Brazil. Boston, welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk, my friend.
Thanks, Nick. Wanted to let Bill know voting stickers are way cooler when they're on your head.
Oh. Sorry, man.
Yeah. So, again, it's an election day, and we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to be with us here at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com, watching us record the show live here on Tuesday night. Before we get to our guest, Sean Okoli, a reminder you can always hit us up on Twitter at Cincy Soccer Talk. You can always email us as well. Cincy Soccer Talk at spnt.tv. And if you're calling in and you want to hear from us or you want to have your voice heard, 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. Let's welcome in the man of the hour, fresh off of winning the MVP award for the 2016 season here in the USL. We welcome in Sean Okoli to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Sean, congratulations on a tremendous year, and thanks for joining us here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So let's talk about the award, man. I mean, that's some big hardware. You go from maybe not being sure where you were going to play before the season, and here you go win the best player of the league award. I mean, that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, everything is kind of, a lot taking everything in how the year went, but I'm happy. It was a good year.
Well, let's talk about that year. You end up coming home with the Golden Boot Award, and I really liked what you said in your statement when you won that award on Friday, the USL MVP award. You talk about your teammates and how well they played and made you a better player. How did they do that for you this year?
Well, I did say that, I really believe FCC has the most talented squad in the league, and they made things a lot easier for me when it comes to getting chances and, playing attacking football. So, yeah, I really enjoyed playing with them this year and, looking forward for more.
Sean, what was it like to play in the environment of Nippert Stadium? I know it's a little bit different to play in front of 30,000 people. I mean, maybe not for you, but for a lot of people. What was it like to start that playoff game in front of that huge crowd?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you dream about, playing in front of big crowds and scoring goals and playing attacking soccer out there. So, yeah, it's been going on all year, and one thing I try to do is not take it for granted. So every time I step out at Nipper, I try and give it all. So, yeah, it was good this year. Impressive.
So when you were on the field, Sean, what was your favorite chant to hear coming out of the Bailey?
I like all of them, to be honest, but my special favorite is the Sean chant and the ooh go. I love hearing that one. So,
yeah. Anything else you'd like the Bailey to be doing to keep you energized on the field, scoring more goals?
I mean, to be honest, everything they're doing now is more than perfect. So it's better than perfect. So yeah, just tell them to keep doing what they're doing.
Oh, they're listening.
Hey, Sean, this is Boston.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you if you felt any extra pressure this season or, sense of urgency, I guess, when Omar Cummings went down, that left you as kind of a lone striker there for a bit, and how that impacted you, maybe how Harks approached you about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was tragic news hearing about Big Cat and how he had to end the season early. And didn't really talk much with John about, the big position change or anything, but I just knew that, the team, they're going to demand a lot out of me, and I got to make sure, I can deliver. So I tried my best to do that this year.
Sean, I want to go back to the very beginning when you were approached by the club to come play here in Cincinnati. What were your impressions of the city and of the project in itself? I mean, it was a first-year franchise. A lot of people, especially here in this town, weren't really sure what to expect from FC Cincinnati. But what did you think of the project when you were first approached, and as the season progressed? Like, how surprised were you by the turnout, and how surprised were you by everything in general?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, I didn't really know what to expect from the city of Cincinnati, and let alone the football club. I just knew the coaching staff, and I knew a couple players that already signed for the team. But, yeah, I mean, how it turned out at the end of the year was, something I never would have imagined either, I remember in the beginning of the year, that we're selling 5,000 fans, and I thought that was more than good. Just to see it multiply throughout the year, something special, really.
Well, speaking of something special, Sean, that first goal at Nippert Stadium, that was a special. We can call it a scissor kick there at Nippert Stadium way back early in the season. When you hit that ball, I mean, how did it feel? I mean, did you know right away that was going in?
To be honest, that's something we like to try out on the training ground. You never know when you're going to be able to, pull it out in a game, but. Yeah, the ball was played, kind of led me into space, and I popped the ball up, and I saw a little window far post, and I don't know, the rest is instinct, I think, and I was happy it went in.
Well, you've played in several different locations. You've played for the Sounders. You've played for the Revolution. Can you talk about how the front office, how the club itself operates compared to some of these other clubs? Obviously, FCC is very interested in becoming a pro team, an MLS team. How do you think they compare to some of these teams that you've experienced that are in the MLS currently?
Yeah, I think FCC is making great strides going forward. Since, like you said, it's a first-year club, so there's a lot of things they're going to, learn during the process. But I thought they started the year really well and ended the year strong. And yeah, there's a lot of positives to take away from the first year. And if you continue that rate, then you'll be up with these top clubs in MLS, if anything, and also surpassing them. So, like I said, it's a great start for the club, and I'm glad it won as well, but at the same time, also frustrated we didn't get the win because the club deserved it. So, but that's what we work for next season.
Speaking of Seattle, that is one of my favorite cities, and I know it's an exciting and awesome place. Coming all the way to Cincinnati, a city that's growing, our downtown's booming. I was kind of interested in what you did for fun throughout the season. I think I heard you speak on the radio towards the start, and you were just trying to get roped in and settled. But now that you've had a whole year, I was kind of interested in what one of your more favorite experiences were.
Well, I didn't know Cincinnati had such good food, all types of food all across the city. So literally I would be out eating all the time, and me and a couple guys on the team, we'd like to do something called family dinner, and that was just a dinner the day before a home game. We would just try random places throughout the city, and yeah, I discovered a lot, but yeah, the food's amazing.
Yeah, when we had Andrew Wiedemann on earlier in the season, Sean, and we asked him. In fact, we've asked every player so far if they've tried Skyline. So, did you get a chance to try Skyline before you headed out?
What is that exactly? I haven't tried it, but I've heard of it before.
It's basically you got your spaghetti with chili sauce on top and then cheese that's what they call a three-way. It's delicious, I promise you.
Wow.
Not good before a home game, though.
I haven't had it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Just okay. Yeah, do not eat it before a game. Maybe the off season is the best time to have it.
Yeah, I think your coaches might be keeping you away from it on purpose.
Yeah. So what is your favorite restaurant?
I mean, I can name you a couple right off the bat. I really like E&O in Hyde Park. I also like First Watch in Oakley. I mean, I know there are other places, but Oakley's my spot. And Cheapside, which is downtown, really good too.
I think
I can go on. I can go on all day.
Yeah, when I lived in Pendleton, I loved the walk to Cheapside. That's a good breakfast.
Oh yeah, but not just me, but guys on my team. We'd be there probably 4 times a week. It was bad.
So speaking of players on your team, you've been very complimentary of players in the past. I know you've talked about Corbin Bone being, instrumental to your success as a playmaker on the field. But coming off the field, who's the funniest person on the team? Who's the jokester?
The jokester?
Yeah.
I would have to say Andrew Wiedemann. 100% Andrew. He just always comes in with all types of outfits on in the morning before training, or always got the funny joke, or I don't know. He makes me laugh. So yeah, I'd have to say Wiedemann.
So, Sean, I know you've always had talent, and but I'm curious as to, was there any big change that kind of helped this season for you specifically become what it was, and actually in a greater sense, what are your individual goals for next year, looking forward?
Well, I know coming into this season, I knew it was very important for me to, really score goals. And some places, I don't know, it was tough for me to get that chance to do that at other places. So I knew I was going to get a good opportunity here to come in and get games. And I know John's going to be helping and Tino's going to be helping me out. And I just, wanted to make sure I gave him my all this year. So, yeah, I'm glad it turned out well. And I want to continue to score goals in the future. That's the plan. Like, I got 16 this year, but I swear I could have had 25 easy. And, I'm kind of frustrated about that. So there's always something to work towards, and that's the plan going into next year.
I'm glad you mentioned Coach Harks, Sean. And when the team was initially announced and that John Harks would be the head coach, that really opened my eyes. I mean, for a long time, this city, I hate to say it this way, but they didn't really take soccer very seriously before FC Cincinnati came around. And then when the coach or the front office announced that John Harks would be the coach, that was really a big eye opener. Talk about his effect on you and his coaching style. How did he bring the best out of you?
Well, something that John, I always praise John about, is just the confidence he gives his players, to be themselves on the pitch. And, he did that with me. He was very comfortable with how I played, and he just wanted me to make sure I can just keep impacting games with my style of play. So, that was actually really good for me. But, not just John, but the assistant coaches, Ryan Martin and Kish, they really did a good job making this environment as professional as possible. And training sessions were always held to a high standard. And, John actually, kept this group to a high standard. So, this year was great for me, and I most definitely thought I got better working with John and his staff.
We got a question via Twitter today, Sean. This is coming from at Jeff Tebbets. He says, with all the talk about FC Cincinnati in Europe in the possible future, do you have a dream match you'd like to see? Is there a specific team that you'd love to play against?
I'll play anyone, especially over teams from England and Spain and Germany. But if I had to pick one, I'd like to see if, play against Chelsea. They're my favorite team in the Premier League. And it'd be nice to see like those top class players like Hazard and Diego Costa on the same field. So yeah, I guess Chelsea would be that dream matchup.
And they're having a good season so far. They're playing really well right now.
Oh yeah, Eden Hazard's about to get his second Player of the Year award. I believe that.
On the plus side, I think Jeff Birding was just at Chelsea, touring their facility.
Yeah, sure, that was a good experience too.
All right. Well, I guess, Sean, we did have one question. This is from Brad Weigel. He wanted to know what your plans for the offseason were.
Well, right now I'm back home in Seattle with the family and just doing some workouts and starting to touch the ball again, but nothing too much. And just trying to stay fit, stay in the gym, and just getting ready for next season. The plan is to come back with FCC, so that's my main focus. But there's also there's interest from teams in other leagues, but for me right now, I'm just trying to take a step back and enjoy the time off.
Are you going to do any traveling?
Get ready. I think I'm going to actually go visit a buddy in England. So I think I'm going to go out there end of the year.
Very cool. Well, Sean, we appreciate your time here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Again, from all of us here and all FC Cincinnati fans around the world, we wish you congratulations on your award. It's well-deserved. Congrats on the Golden Boot, everything, for just a tremendous 2016 season. And we really are looking forward to you scoring 25 to 30 goals next year, buddy.
Oh, yeah, me too. And thanks for having me. You guys can call anytime.
All right. Well, we're going to hold you to that, Sean. Be by your phone, will you?
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Sean. We appreciate it.
Sounds good.
That's Sean Okoli, the reigning MVP of the USL, joining us here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We appreciate him spending some time here in his offseason and chatting with us. Good stuff from Sean, guys. I didn't know his favorite team was Chelsea. Being a Man United fan, I can respect that because they just demolished my Reds a few weeks ago. But pretty cool stuff from Sean.
I don't know. What's that feel like? I don't understand. As a Liverpool fan, I don't know what it feels like to be demolished by Chelsea. But I digress to Cincinnati soccer.
Your slide down the table is inevitable, Joseph.
It's still early.
It is very early. That's right. But good stuff from Sean. We appreciate him taking the time to join us here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Again, we'll open up the phone lines, 513-399-KICK. That's 513-399-KICK. We'd love to hear from you, FC Cincinnati fans, if you're watching us live here at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. We appreciate your feedback, and if you got questions for our esteemed panel, we'd love to hear from you here tonight. So let's talk about some news. Jeff Birding, we watched it all week on social media, guys, making the trip around Europe to different locations. He was at Chelsea. I believe he went to Aston Villa. I think at one point he might have been at Tottenham Hotspur's training grounds. I know he went to St. George's Park, which is where England, the national team, they train. He ended up over in Ajax for a little bit, over in the Netherlands. Got to hang out with Ruud van Nistelrooy. It sounds like the soccer fans' dream trip of all trips, guys. Bill, I know you know Jeff pretty well. You had to have been stoked for him and what that means for the club moving forward.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you could have the dream job and have them, pay you to take a trip to Europe and watch, top level teams play soccer and get tours of all their facilities. I mean, that's what we do when we go to Europe, right? You go visit Old Trafford and get a tour of the facilities and watch a game. So yeah, awesome trip for him. But, I think more important is what it means for the club and the fact that, he's over there, not just having fun, though I'm sure he obviously had a lot of fun, but, finding out what he can learn from them, getting a sense of the environments that are created there, finding out about the training facilities. That's a big part of the 17 plan for this club, is what we can do for training. And, I'm sure he learned a lot and he's bringing that all back. I also hope he made some connections. I mean, that's obviously another big goal of that, was to see, who can we partner with and who can we, have friendlies with and things like that. So yeah, it should have been a great trip.
I think he definitely made some connections. I particularly enjoyed the picture with Ruud Van Nistelrooy, with Ruud literally holding Jeff's business card in his hand. I mean, I thought that was pretty baller of our our president and GM.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with his attention to the details on that trip. Instead of getting, like, if it was me, I would be totally geeking out and just checking everything out, trying to find players, especially sitting down with Pardue and not losing it. And I understand he's a professional, but when reading his blog, he talks about stuff down to the lighting, and he viewed training grounds, indoor facilities, workout rooms, training rooms, locker rooms, everything. And he kind of took the best from each club, just trying to figure out what's the best thing about them and how can I use that going forward, even touring the gift shop, or the players shop at Liverpool. It's just really impressive.
Yeah, as Bill said, as much fun as, like, in our minds that trip is, and not in our minds, in reality, I don't think it was something that was taken for leisure in the straight sense. You definitely can tell just from not only the venues that he went to, but where he invested his time. And as Boston said, paying attention to every detail. We're not gonna want to, FC Cincinnati is its own thing, but when it comes down to training and that kind of stuff, there's information out there. There's a path to be laid, but it takes some in-depth research, and he certainly got ankle deep in it, figuratively speaking.
Yeah, even went into Belgium and toured lower level teams. He didn't just go see Chelsea and Man City and huge clubs like that. He looked at even lower level teams and getting senses of what's going on there and comparing that to U.S. soccer. So I think it was a good sense of where FCC needs to go, but also, FCC is part of the landscape of U.S. soccer, and, where does U.S. soccer need to go?
I think from a brand perspective now, I mean, FC Cincinnati at this point now is a growing brand within U.S. soccer. I mean, you could talk about the on-the-pitch product, but FCC now is a brand here in the United States when it comes to soccer, because it's being mentioned as much as it is. It's being talked about in soccer circles about possibly being a very rapidly choice to be a new expansion side in MLS. So it's a good opportunity to get over to the other side of the world and just get the brand out there, because people are talking about it, not just here, but they're talking about it around the world. And it's nice to kind of put a face to the name and get the brand out there. So kudos to Jeff. Next time you do that trip, I think you should raffle off a ticket to go, because I might try to win a ticket so I could go along on that journey. That had to have been just an amazing experience to go witness that. So we're really glad that Jeff decided to kind of just, maybe diary is not the word, but just kind of put it out there. He put it out on social media. He cataloged his travel, and we really appreciate you doing that, Jeff, and giving us an inside look of on what you're doing here with the club. Obviously, you have a great base to build off of, because last year was tremendous. Which leads me into our next thing here. FC Cincinnati ranked 16th in United States and Canada soccer attendance. 16th out of every single team in the United States and Canada. We're a first-year team, guys, and to finish 16th in attendance, that is huge, absolutely huge. And I don't hear the plastic chants anymore, because I think we showed to other teams around the league that this is for real. It wasn't a one-hit wonder. They went on and they outdrew 25% of Major League Soccer teams this year, including 3 playoff teams. In fact, 2 of those playoff teams had the best record in Major League Soccer. What does that tell you guys?
Tells you Cincinnati likes soccer.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive. It's actually mind-boggling to think about it. The USL has really never seen anything like it. You had Sacramento, San Antonio, and Louisville as the three strongest.
Well, Orlando was pretty big. They did pretty well.
Yeah. You're right. And but I don't think anyone saw it coming, including us. It's insane to think year one you can come in and do that, and it just leaves you excited for year two, year three. And not only that, bigger attendances equal more money. What can you do with that money? Obviously, you can. To go back to our last story, fly to Europe and look at some of those facilities. If we can even bring a smidgen of that back, not only do we have the best attendance in the USL, we could start having some of the best facilities in the USL.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. I mean, there were people I was arguing with about 10K, when 10K, not 10K a game, like breaking 10K for a match when the season started, saying, I think these people are way in over their head. These projections are great, but are they realistic? And the truth was the projections weren't realistic, because if they were realistic, they would have been probably twice what we actually thought. They weren't realistic in a good way, I should say. Like, the projections were something that way underballed. And I think that a lot of the people who, I wouldn't say missed the bus, but there are going to be a lot of people who put it off, or just really didn't recognize the length of the season. And when they see that, wow, this is the turnout that we had, we'll see them not only show up on game day, but at preliminary preseason ticket sales.
Yeah, and looking ahead to next year, the renewals on tickets, season tickets, is like 98, 99%. 2017 new season ticket holders are just now starting to get their opportunities to purchase, and it sounds like that's a very high number that have signed up for that. And the numbers that the front office is throwing out there is they want to see 20K per game now. So they predicted 10K last year and we hit 17, and now they want 20. So assuming that we can do the 20 and maybe even do better, because they seem to throw conservative numbers out. If you look at that and compare it against that attendance landscape we were just discussing, we're not 16th anymore. We're moving into the top 10. That's impressive for a USL team.
To break that top 10, all you would need to do, based off of 2016 numbers, is get 20,200, and that would get you in the top 10. That would knock New England down. And man, wouldn't that be a phenomenal statement, especially to the naysayers who originally said, "Oh, you're a plastic team, you won't get anybody there," and then we bring in 17,000 people a game, and now they're saying, "Oh, it's just year one. Yeah, people got excited. It can't continue. You'll never keep it up."
Yeah, well, and we just had Ugo on the show, right? So, if he comes back to FCC, which it sounds like he'd like to do, to have our attendance number beat New England Revolution would probably be a nice little bonus for him as well, I would guess. But we do have to take into account Atlanta and Minnesota as well. I don't know what their attendance numbers will look like, but probably pretty good coming into the beginning of the year. I don't know what their stadium limitations are, but we might need a little more than 20,200 if they do better than that. So.
Yeah, and the club announced today that the premium club seats have sold out, so they continue to do well there. I know from personal experience, I added 2 more tickets to my season tickets. So I know a lot of people last year that were already season ticket holders or in the same boat as me, they added more tickets. So it's a good sign. And again, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. Congratulations to FC Cincinnati, the ticketing staff. They brought home some hardware today. This from Jeff Smith, who was a guest on our show earlier this year. They won the trophy for USL ticket attendance, best new club, and tickets for group and advanced sales. So congratulations on the club for winning some. I know that's not the hardware they wanted to win, but still, that's still the being recognized by the league is still pretty impressive there. So again, congrats to them and on a fine season, and let's hope they continue to build on that for 2017. We're live here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We'd love to hear from you if you're a season ticket holder. Did you add tickets? Did you renew? Or maybe you weren't a season ticket holder here in 2016 but decided, now I'm going to be a season ticket holder for next year. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a ring. Our call screener this week, the one and only Brian Weigel. 513-399-KICK. That's 513-399-KICK. I mean, it's it's exciting times to be a fan of FC Cincinnati. There's no question about it. And before we move on, I want to give a shout-out and congratulations to Northern Kentucky University and Dayton. The Flyers and the Norse advanced to the women's NCAA soccer tournament, so best of luck there. We wish you all the luck in the world, and we hope you knock out the big giants you got coming up. I think University of Dayton, they have to play Ohio State, which is a tough draw. And, of course, Northern Kentucky is going to face the 1 seed in West Virginia. So best of luck to the Norse and the Flyers next season. Again, Brian just messaged me. He says he's lonely. We'd love to hear from you. 513-399-KICK. That's 513-399-KICK. Let's play a little.
Yeah, when you
go ahead, Brett.
Go ahead. When you call in, make sure that you let Brian know that you're expecting him to paint up either for the USA game or for next season, since he's put that off. So
people don't forget, Brian.
I like it. In the meantime, let's do this, shall we?
I was like, yeah.
Let's play a little Ask Yosef. He's laughing over there. Oh, gosh. Yosef, what's cool? I feel like it's been a while since we played this game.
I know, right? I actually didn't even know we were going to play it. Now I'm all shocked. I'm unprepared.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of Ask Yosef. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Let's start with this. What's your favorite pizza joint in the city of Cincinnati?
Oh, that's so easy. Goodfellas. Oh my goodness. My post EPL match day lunch. For sure. Their pizza, dude. Of course, if the Cincinnati FCC soccer foot pizza sponsor wanted to give me a kickback, I'd totally say Donato's, but Goodfellas, the slices as big as your head and breadsticks as big as your arm, I can take that.
I guess my next question for you was, what is your favorite free pizza?
Yeah, definitely Donato's. Free is my favorite flavor of anything. Food. My favorite brand of clothing. Definitely my favorite form of drinks. But someone actually asked me, since I wasn't on last week, what the favorite pizza topping is, and the best pizza toppings are pepperoni and banana pepper combination.
Interesting. All right.
Yes.
So the next question I have for you is, what do you order at Skyline?
3 cheese conies and a 3-way.
You get everything on those cheese conies?
No onions, mustard. Only mustard.
Yosef.
I'm not an onions guy.
You gotta go. The onions make the chili better. I worked at Skyline. Come on.
Yeah, keep it pure.
Oh,
it's too late to change, Nick.
All right. So if you had to choose between the Bengals winning a playoff game and FC Cincinnati winning the USL Cup, what would you pick?
Oh my God. I'm going to get killed for this answer. Thank God the right audience is listening. I definitely, dude, come on. Trophies, as much as I want a playoff win, like, come on. A trophy's not going anywhere. That title will never fade.
All right.
Definitely FCC.
All right. That was Ask Yosef. We appreciate the questions coming in. Again, you can always tweet them to us at Cincy Soccer Talk with the hashtag Ask Yosef. All right. So big game coming up Friday. U.S. men's national team taking on Mexico up in Columbus. I know the Weigel twins are excited about this game. I believe they're going. I'm not sure. Bill, are you going?
No, I'm working.
Yep, me too. What about you, Boston and Yosef? Are you two going up there?
Yeah, I'm actually riding up with the Weigel twins. It'll be my first ever U.S. men's national game. I am so excited. Going up Thursday for the American Outlaws rally, actually. Interested to see how crazy that is compared to what we've got going on here. I'm guessing a little more crazy just due to the amount of people, but it's going to be awesome.
What about you, Yosef? You heading up?
Oh my God, I wish.
Yeah.
Adulthood and working interfered, but the next dose of Sarah, I can't go if they keep winning. That's what I've been told. If they keep winning, I turn down tickets every time they come around and they keep winning. If I go there and they lose, then what kind of precedent am I setting?
Yeah, we wouldn't want you to be the jinx.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's better. I think maybe that's a good reason why I shouldn't go, even though I will be working Friday night, which is a bummer. But, I just have a feeling with my luck that the one time I do go, it's going to be bad news. But it should be a good one. They're taking on Mexico. We know the history of this rivalry. We know the history of this game, this fixture at Columbus. 2-0, 2-0. The last, I believe, 4 times these games. Might even be 5 now. I can't remember. I know it's up there. So what are you guys expecting Friday night when these two teams meet? And who would you like to see start for the United States? Let's start with you, Yosef.
Well, I was actually, my answer to this question at least the starting part was kind of a bummer because Jordan Morris picked up an injury this week. I honestly, the player I'm most excited to see and probably will be for the next 10 to 15 years is Christian Pulisic. I'm not updated on this, but I know last time I checked this weekend, he was 3rd in assists in Bundesliga. 17. That's thanks for making me feel worthless about what I've accomplished, Christian. But there's a nice young core. I'm not sure who will start. I think he's definitely the most likely to start of players like Lyndon Gooch and all that. But I'm hoping to see big things out of him.
You're going to be there, Boston. What are you thinking?
Man, I am just excited to see some legends. The legends to me. I'm fairly new to the soccer world as of the last couple of years, and I'm interested in seeing a possible start from Tim Howard, and of course Yedlin. Wish we would have remembered to ask Sean about him. I heard they're buddies.
Yeah. That's one of the things that out of all the years I've done interviews, the worst thing is after you get done doing the show, you're driving to work, or you just think, oh man, I should have asked that question. But that just means we need to have him on again.
He extended that offer. It's gonna be called on.
So there you go, Bill. What are you
right now?
We should call him. What do you think's gonna happen Friday night?
What do I think's going to happen? Well, it's got to be 2-0, right? It'll be number 5 if we do that. So, I think we're getting to the point where it's starting to become a head game. There was a game, and I wish I had better history skills to remember these things, but I thought we had a PK at the end, and we flubbed the PK, and I swear it looked like we flubbed it on purpose. It was almost like
it was the last one, and I think Dempsey missed it on purpose.
Yeah, we just didn't want to break the 2-0. It's just not worth it. It's 2-0, right? You got to keep that every time they walk in there. They just know what the score is going to be before they start, blow the first whistle.
I haven't had a chance to look and see what the weather looks like for Friday night, Boston. I know you're going to be there. Is it supposed to be chilly? What's the forecast looking like?
Yeah, a little chilly. I'm going to wear my FC Cincinnati winter hat, break it out first time in public.
The colder the better. We want it to be cold.
I'm torn. I'm going to wear some Cincinnati gear because I got to represent. And especially since I'm so close to home, a lot of visitors, get out there. Going to wear some Cincinnati Soccer Talk swag. Trying to decide if I should go with a U.S. scarf or an FC Cincinnati scarf. What do you guys think?
I think you gotta don a little bit of the red, white, and blue, just a tad.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing other blue and orange, I think the scarf you might want to go red, white, and blue. That's my take.
I think you're right.
Smart move.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll go with a U.S. shirt, of course. So I don't know. I just don't know how well the red, white, and blue will work with the blue and orange. I might clash, but I think I'll look good.
Speaking of seeing people wearing FCC gear, a couple weekends ago I was in Dayton for my son and daughter's soccer tournament, and I was walking by a gentleman who was wearing an FC Cincinnati hat, and I just started chanting FCC, and he looked at me like I was from Mars. Like, what? Like, I was so surprised. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're wearing the hat. Don't you know that's the chant? Like, I don't know. It's kind of – I was surprised.
The Cincinnati War Pigs would call that guy casual.
Joseph, you going for a Dos Cero?
Am I going for the scoreline?
Yeah.
You don't want to know my opinion on what's going to happen in this game. I'm going to be a buzzkill.
Whoa! You're not doing that.
I'm going to respectfully pass on this opportunity.
Okay.
I have faith in the team. I'm kind of a pessimist.
Glass half empty kind of guy.
Hashtag ask Joseph. Oh, sorry.
Oh, man, that's funny. Well, we know that you're going for a Dos Cero, Bill. I think you did too as well, Boston. I don't know if it'll be a Dos Cero, but I think the U.S. are going to win. I really like the way Josie Altidore is playing right now. He's probably in the best form in years. Maybe since that year he played over in the Eredivisie in the Dutch league. He's scoring goals. He's playing well. His hold-up plays good. Michael Bradley in that 6th role for Toronto, playing really well right now. I think that's where he's going to play Friday night for the U.S. And I really like the way, obviously, Pulisic's playing over in Germany. I mean, he's been lights out. It just seems like every time they're playing, he's doing something to affect the outcome for Borussia Dortmund. So I really like his chances. I think it's going to be good. So we shall see. Let's start to wrap things up here on episode 39. Get the final thoughts of Bill Wolf.
Well, one topic we didn't touch on was the Garber visit. And I don't want to get into details on the Garber visit, but there has been some interesting, what would you call it, social media commentary going around lately, predicting that with the news that Miami is delayed, that perhaps MLS is looking for an Eastern Conference team to balance out LAFC, and that FC Cincinnati is one of those, teams in the mix that could do that balancing, and maybe Garber is trying to see how quickly he can make that happen. I don't know how likely that is, but it's exciting times that those, and these are not people in Cincinnati necessarily publishing all these things. This is people, who are watching the MLS expansion. So it's fun that Cincinnati, a year and a half ago wasn't in the landscape at all. And then we were happy to be on the end of the list. And now we're kind of bubbling up to the top of the list. So.
Yeah, I think that was actually Brian Weigel's theory. He talked about it on the last episode of the podcast. Brian, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, man, I completely believe that's our theory here, or my theory here going into this. That it's going to be we're going to be that team to fill up the hole, and it's been commented on several websites over the past week, including the Telegraph too. So gotta love that pickup. Let me drop back out of here real quick, Nick. We actually have a caller coming in.
All right.
Give me 1 second here, man.
So there you have it. That was Brian's well, I don't know if he can claim it as his theory, but he did mention it last week here on the podcast. So, yeah, I think it would be a stretch, but it's exciting. I don't fully expect the commissioner to show up on the 29th and go, "Welcome to MLS." that would be pretty crazy, and that's not going to happen. But I think there's a lot to be excited about regarding the trip here coming up. Believe it or not, just a few weeks away. So be ready, and I know we're all going to be there, loud and proud, and supporting the commissioner and trying to convince him that Cincinnati is a legitimate soccer town. I don't know, being 16th in the U.S. attendance, that kind of says what you need to say. I mean, I don't know what else FC Cincinnati could do. Do they need to back it up and make that number even higher for next year? I don't know. Obviously, they need to work on some of the other logistics. I know they're working on expanding the field. Nippert Stadium will be expanded for next season, so you have that. And you know, there's all kinds of talk about the team next year and then what the plans are moving forward. We shall see. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Griffin, who's calling us from Cincinnati. Griffin, welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing tonight?
Doing well.
What's on your mind?
So my thought is, with the growing popularity of FCC and the city just with open arms, what are the possibilities of the Bailey outgrowing its current section and it just spreading to other sections, you know?
That is a good question. And as it is, the Bailey is always full to the brim, it feels like. The one time I sat in the Bailey this season, it was shoulder to shoulder throughout the entire section. You guys were down there more often. Would you be surprised if the Bailey, the section moves within Nippert Stadium to another location?
Personally, I'd be at least in the short term, I'd be shocked. The problem, but it is growing, and we've already seen that. You know, the sections that they've been roping off are growing. There's a need for it. So, who knows? The growth is becoming exponential. So,
yeah, I think at least, you know, for last year, well, whatever we want to say, you know, there's roughly five sections there or whatever, and it was kind of the central one that was for the supporters groups, and then everybody else kind of filled in around it. And on big games, the supporters groups kind of spread out a little bit. But I think it's going to take a little bit before the supporters groups can truly fill the Bailey. Right now, the numbers are there. DI and the Pride both, you know, claim to have about 500 supporters. So you're getting into the 1,000 range. I think the Bailey holds 1,700. So even if every one of those was a unique supporter and lived in Cincinnati and came to the Bailey, we still have a little ways to go. So I think we're good. I think we're good for at least another year or two before we truly run out of space.
Another thing to think of, Griffin, is they did drop the pricing in the section all the way across on the other side of the stadium. So your casual, maybe your family that just tried to grab the cheapest tickets they could before they even knew what they were getting themselves into, they'll now end up in a different spot if they're using that same tactic, which will free up the Bailey for the people I feel like want to be there, know what it is, and want to be a part of it, which is great.
Griffin, did you sit in the Bailey last year?
No, I actually have season tickets midfield, back row, so I got to see. You know, I didn't get to experience the Bailey, but I got to had a good point of view of what was going on. And actually, the cool part that I experienced was when Cincy Superfan, I think's his name, he actually came over a few times to different sections and, you know, was walking up and down the stairs trying to get people fired up. I thought that was actually pretty cool. That's why I was kind of wondering if the fever might spread, you know, so much that the Bailey, you know, maybe there's not just one section that's for the DI and the Pride. Maybe it spreads throughout the stadium.
Well, I think it'd be nice too if the knowledge regarding the chants spread throughout the stadium. You know, like some of the songs, and I'd love to hear the entire stadium chanting in unison. You're probably not going to have everybody doing it, but the more we can get the chants out there for folks to learn, I think that'll be a big thing. I know my folks, they sat, I believe it was section 118. That's where my season tickets were, which is on the opposite end of the Bailey. And I remember talking about it many times here on the show. Like, it was hard to hear the chants early on in the season from the Bailey. I knew they were making noise. I could see them making noise, but I couldn't really make out what they were saying. But I think as we go and time progresses with this club and the chants become more and more familiar, and you've got people that sat in the Bailey once and then, I'm going to bring my family and we're going to sit somewhere else, those chants will start to grow and hopefully get to some of those other sections.
There was a couple times, too, that we'd be in that, in those intermissions where we're reorganizing or in between chants, and you poke your head up and start hearing clapping or start hearing FCC from different parts of the stadium. So I think like you said, the willpower and the want to is there. And once people start kind of picking up these chants now that they're established and we're working on making them available, I think it'll grow. Now, are we going to have everybody singing, a complicated, the yellow card chant or anything? Maybe not, but even stuff along the lines of, Okoli's chant, I think that's feasible. Maybe not next year, but people are learning that stuff. So
I do think the surrounding sections next to the Bailey as well, have started to pick up the chants a little bit. They're obviously in a position to hear them better than anybody else, especially at some of the larger games, Palace, the playoffs, maybe our last home game with Orlando. You could actually see those groups doing the clapping and singing along with the Bailey, which was fun. So I think, Griffin, I think you're right. I think it is something that is growing outside the Bailey, and that's a good thing.
We appreciate the call, Griffin. Don't be a stranger. Call us back next week, buddy.
Definitely will.
All right. Appreciate it. That's Griffin giving us a ring from Cincinnati here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk as we wrap up episode 39. We got the final thoughts of Bill there. Let's get the final thoughts from you, Boston. By the way, congrats on your first show. You did well. We appreciate you being a co-host this week, and I'm really digging the hat with the I Love Voting sticker on it.
Thank you. I don't know if I can live up to it again. Maybe in 2 years when we have another election, I can look this good. But until then, I'm just excited to help out where I can. Appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this, and looking forward to this weekend hanging out with the Weigel twins. Looking forward to making Brian paint up, and I'll try to get it done for us.
Good stuff, Boston. Final thoughts, Joseph Sagai.
I had final thoughts before the call, and I can't remember what they were. All I can think about is Brian in 2018 in his basement, and he hasn't shaved in 2 years, and he's just going, "I told you so. I told you so," with his tinfoil hat on, because he knew that FCC would be in MLS in 2018. Not saying it's going to happen, but I can picture him. Someone get him a rocking chair. I think we missed the next opportunity for their birthdays. We can gift him a rocking chair to rock back and forth like a senile old man.
Well, I'll get him the tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
We're on our way.
I'm just looking forward to my mother picking him up at his house so she could drive him to Lunken Airport for the arrival of Don Garber. That would be quite the scene. I'd love to see that on Periscope. Maybe you'll have to tune in for that. No question about it. My final thoughts this week before we get out of here. A big shout out and thanks to Michael Stump. Many of you don't know who Michael Stump is, but he is a tremendous graphic designer. You may recall earlier this year on our website, we did a post about some cool potential MLS jersey designs. He was the person that designed those. Well, Michael was kind enough this week to unveil a new design for Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We've got a brand new logo. So thank you, Michael, for the design. It looks great on our website. You'll see it all over our social media. And as Boston mentioned, he's going to be wearing it on some Cincinnati Soccer Talk swag up in Columbus on Friday night. Then, of course, when Don Garber visits later this month. So, again, thank you to Michael Stump for the brand new design, and we really do appreciate the effort. It's tremendous. I think it looks great. And so thank you, Michael Stump, for that. Just a reminder, you can check out our show. We're live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, for the most part, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, right here at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/live. But, of course, if you can't make the live show, you can always download our audio on demand on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Play. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find Cincinnati Soccer Talk. But more importantly, on iTunes, we'd love some reviews. I think I'm going to make kind of like what we did with Brian regarding the painting up, where we got to 25 reviews. I think I'm going to do something if we get to 50 reviews. What are you guys' thoughts on this? I would agree to do an episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk with just nothing but a mustache. Grow out my facial hair, and I just have a mustache. What do you think? Is that even worth it?
I think we got to follow through on the 25 views before our viewers can trust us.
I think we know he'll never do it, so I'm just trying to move ahead. I don't know. Maybe that's a thought. If we get to 50 reviews, I will do the show but sporting a mustache. I know it'll make my wife mad, and it'll embarrass her to all get out. So we'll do that if we get to 50 reviews on iTunes. So Seuberling, maybe that's the hashtag. Seuberling for 50 reviews on iTunes. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/iTunes. Before we get out of here, big thanks to Sean Okoli and FC Cincinnati for coming on the show this week. Again, we appreciate your time, Sean, and congratulations on winning the 2016 MLS. I'm already used to MLS. USL MVP. Cincinnati Soccer Talk is an SPNT production. For more information about other podcasts, log on to spnt.tv. And, of course, check out the latest and greatest over at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Thanks to our call screener, Brian Weigel, the lone man, the lone wolf man, Bill Wolf, Boston Brazil, and Mr. Free Pizza himself, Joseph Sagai. I'm Subes, reminding you to watch your tackles, and we'll catch up with you next week.